No run today. Today was spent with snow removal. In my last video, I mentioned we were getting a storm. Well, we got over 2 feet and it's going to be amazing running coming. But check this out. Look at all that snow. I planned ahead and have a new video all queued up for you. Let's talk footwear. Let's talk shoes. Let's go. All right, we've got fresh groom trail. The groomer just got finished, first tracks, and it's cold in the trees, but man, it's gonna get sunny out. I'm out at Game Creek, and today we're gonna riff on shoes. Wow. What a day. I've got about a 3-mile gradual climb up to the turnaround, and then just the opposite coming back down. But I know you guys are really interested in shoes, so let's get right to it. One of the most detrimental things that happened when Born to Run came out is that it positioned barefoot running, minimal running, natural running, whatever you want to call it. I call it natural running. In marketing, whenever there's an item to be sold, they have to create a category. If you look at music, there's classical, there's punk, there's rock and roll, there's blues, there's jazz, there's hip hop, there's rap. All these categories help sell. Okay, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that's what happened with barefoot running and minimal running. They had to create this category to sell it, which again made it this all or nothing approach. And it shouldn't be that way at all. Therefore, I think it's important we understand something. The closer our feet are to the ground, the more stable we are. The more we have the ability to use our feet as stabilizers, which are our first line of defense from stabilization. Using that and engaging our big toe, utilizing our arch. That all sets us up for good running and good muscle usage. So the further our feet get away from the ground in a more built-up shoe with a high platform, the more we're not able to utilize our natural stability. And therefore it becomes more of a challenge for our body to stabilize. And where that becomes important from a running perspective is we don't use our muscles very well. When we can't engage our feet and stabilize at our feet, we can't stabilize and engage other muscles that are really, really important for performance and longevity. So if we can grasp this idea as a general philosophy that the closer our feet to the ground, the better we're going to use our body, we can then see our shoe choice as a tool to help us train and perform and utilize our muscles in a better way. And everybody's capacity for a minimal shoe, or what I call a natural shoe, is different. One person their capacity might be to run around the block. If it's my capacity, it's being able to run all day in the mountains with a natural shoe. Everybody's capacity is different, but the key is to understand this overriding idea that the closer our feet are to the ground, the better we're going to use our body. Therefore, then we get away from the idea that we have to pick one shoe for the job. So work with me here. If we go back to our analogy of music, hey, sometimes our mood is for jazz or classical or punk rock, heavy metal. Okay, it depends on our mood that day. So again, work with me. If we realize that, hey, sometimes the purpose of today is to use our muscles better, we're going to pick a lower to the ground shoe and develop our time in that shoe So we go longer and longer and longer using our body and muscles in a more efficient, more equilibrium state. So you're not listening to the same type of music all the time, or maybe are you using the same type of shoe all the time? So if you go to the gym, you haven't been to the gym for years, and you sit down at the bench and you just pump out 5 sets of 20, what's gonna happen tomorrow? You're gonna be sore. Okay, you're not gonna be able to brush your teeth because you can't move your arms. Doesn't mean lifting weights is bad. It means you lifted above and beyond your capacity that day based on what you haven't been doing. So let's start looking at natural running, a minimal shoe running, in the same way, is that there's a purpose for it. And we can build our time, we can increase our capacity to reap the benefits of a low to the ground running, using our body well, engaging our muscles well, taking away the tug and pull so we're not as tight. And having the philosophy of increasing your capacity or your time spent in these shoes is not only going to help with how you feel, the strength that you develop for that, regardless of the distance you're racing and running, it's also going to help on the opposite end. If you're in a really built up shoe now, if you spend more time in a natural environment, your capacity to come down and stack height is going to increase, which is a good thing. So that high 30 mil stack height that you run in now might be 25, and it might go to 22 and a 20, and now you're working both ends. So it's not an all or nothing approach. And getting back to the category thing, you don't have to call yourself a barefoot runner. You don't have to call yourself a minimal runner. So if we take that vocabulary away, it opens up our mind. We don't often talk about what we're doing the rest of the time during our day when we're not running. That's a great opportunity to go as natural as possible. When we're walking around, working, now you're spending most of your time in a natural environment. So the idea is not to ditch the shoes you're using now, not to make it a black or white decision. The idea is to get lower to the ground more frequently, more often, and through time, spend more and more time lower to the ground. The key is that this is a lifelong pursuit, something you just continue to get better and better at. If you're gonna pick up the guitar for the first time, you're not automatically expect to pull off Eddie Van Halen's solo and beat it. You're gonna learn the chords first and get better and get better. And through time, your capacity to be lower to the ground increases, and your capacity to rely on a higher stack shoe decreases. Back in the trees. This is my turnaround, following the groomer. So I'd like this video to kind of be just a starter of conversations. If you're a marathoner relying on super shoes, or an ultra marathoner relying on high stack height, hey, we're not asking you not to do that. Let's just have an open mind of how this whole conversation can improve your own running. So let's let this video just be a conversation starter. It's not an all or nothing approach. It's not and or. All runners want the benefits of natural running, and let's see it as a process. Let's see it as the art of running, as something that you get better and better at to reap the rewards. So put your questions down below. This really helps me get into your mindset as an individual, but as a community, as a collective, to know where to take this conversation in the next video. And there's some new exciting research out there that shows super shoes, plated shoes, the benefits are negated unless you're able to run faster than 6 minute mile. Let me have your super shoe questions. Bring them, come on. Doing my form work on the downhill. 3-mile descent, gradual is perfect, good snow. Perfect for building strength, working on form on my downhill. So over and out from Jackson Hole, Game Creek Trail, Born to Run World. See you next time.